Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am the Flamehead97, and I'm here to review the new Godsmack album, Lighting Up the Sky. This is Godsmack's 8th and final studio album because their lead vocalist, Sully has announced that the band will no longer be releasing studio albums, which sucks because I really like Godsmack, but I respect their decision because they've been doing this shit for over 20 years, so I definitely respect that. So with that being said, though, let's go and get started with reviewing their new album, Lighting Up the Sky. So the first song on the album is called You and I. This was the second single from the album right after the lead single, Surrender. So yeah, this is a longer song to begin the album, lasting 5 minutes and 16 seconds, but it's definitely a good song. I think they could have opened up the album with Surrender, in my opinion, but however, You and I still wasn't a bad song to begin the album with because I like the song. So, You and I really like it. I think it was a pretty good choice as a single, but as an album opener, I think it could have moved down to like in the place of Surrender, but however, You and I was still a good album opener, but that's just my opinion on where I think it should be placed in the track listing. So You and I, it's definitely a great single. So I'd give the song a 4 out of a 5. Track 2 is Red, White, and Blue. The song is really good. I really like Red, White, and Blue. It's one of my favorites on the album. Definitely a really great song. I just really enjoyed this one. It's a song that I'll definitely be coming back to when I listen to anything from this album individually when I'm not listening to the full album because the song is just really, really good. It's one of their best songs on the new album and from the more recent material within recent years. So yeah, Red, White, and Blue is definitely a great song. So this song I give a 4.5 out of a 5 rating. Just a really good song. So track 3 is the song Surrender. This was the lead single from this new Godsmack album. And like I was saying earlier on, this song should have been the opener of the album, but however, that's not really much of a big deal. I'm just saying how I thought it should have been. So yeah, Surrender was definitely a great lead single. It's definitely a good song. It starts off with a really good riff that kind of reminds me of like the song Crying Like a Bitch because they have like similar guitar work at the beginning of the songs. So Surrender is definitely a great song. I really like it a lot. It definitely tells a really great message of like a relationship or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely a really great song. I really like it. So yeah, man, Surrender is definitely an amazing song. They couldn't have picked a better lead single from the album because this song is definitely great. So Surrender, I'm gonna give this song a 5 out of a 5. I really like the song. It's really good, and it is one of my favorites on the album. So Surrender, I really love the message behind it. It's definitely a very relatable song. So yeah, man, the song is amazing. Definitely one of their best songs in quite a while as well. So yeah, Surrender, I love the song. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of a 5. Definitely a great one. So track 4 is What About Me. This is another really good song. These first 4 songs on this new album are really good. I really like the first 4 songs. Not that this is a bad album, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the review. So, What About Me? Definitely another good song. I really like it. Sully and company just kick ass in this song. This could have been another really good single from the album. So, yeah, this could easily work as a single if they ever choose to release any more singles in the future from this album. Because they've already released 3 singles from the album. But this would definitely work as a great single because What About Me is definitely another really, really good song. So I'm going to give this a 4 3.5 out of 5. Definitely a good one. Track 5 is Truth. Now, this is kind of where the album kind of takes a downfall for me, but definitely not a bad album or a bad song, but I'll talk about my pros and cons with the song Truth. So, Truth is a ballad, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but it kind of takes away what you're getting with the rest of the album. So, having a ballad on your album isn't a bad thing, because some bands do that, but it kind of took away the rest of the album, especially the second half, because the first four songs were heavier songs, and then when you get the Truth, you get a ballad. Now, it's not a bad song, it's a great song, I really like it. It's got a great message behind it, it's got great lyrics, great storytelling, but my problem is that it's a ballad, and it just takes away the second half of the album, because you got these heavy four songs, and then you get to this one, and it's a ballad, but it's still a good song though, nonetheless. So I'd give the song a 3 out of a 5 rating. However, I still like the song though, because it's still a good one. So track 6 is Hell's Not Dead. This is another song that I just think is decent. I mean, other fans of Godsmack probably like this one, but I don't think it's a bad song again. It's just not one of the better songs on the album for me, but I still like the song though, because I like the whole album. But Hell's Not Dead, not as good as some of the other songs again, but I still think it's a solid song for what it is. So I'd give it a 3.5 out of a 5. Still a solid song. Track 7 is the third single, Soul on Fire. Not one of my favorites out of the singles, but I still think it's a solid choice for a single. I mean, they could have picked a better third single, in my opinion, like Red, White, and Blue or What About Me. But however, Soul on Fire, not a bad choice for another single, even though it could have been a better song. But however, I still think it's a decent to solid song again. So, Soul on Fire, I'd also give this one 3.5 out of a 5. Track 8 is the song Let's Go. This is the longest song on the album, lasting 5 minutes and 40 seconds. This song does sort of drag on a while. It just seems like the song is way too long. And in my opinion, there's no way this song should have been nearly 6 minutes, because they could have dropped it down by at least a minute, because this song didn't need to be 5 minutes and 40 seconds. That's just way too long, especially for Godsmack, because majority of their songs are like at least 5 minutes or 4 minutes and something at the max of them. So this song is just way too long. It just goes on for too long. I mean, I'm not saying it's a horrible song, because it's far from a bad song. It just drags on a long time when you listen to the album in full. So if they would have cut the song down a little bit, then I wouldn't have a problem. But however, it's not a bad song. Yes, it's longer than it should have been in my opinion, but however, I still think it's a good song for what it is. So Let's Go, I'd give it a 3 out of a 5. So track 9 is Best of Times. This was a good song. It's basically about them being in the music industry for like over 20 years, and that they've had like the best times creating music for their fans and other things like that. So it's definitely a great message to have in one of your songs, especially considering that this is their last studio album. So yeah, definitely a really good song. I really like the message behind it. So Best of Times, I like this song. So I'd give it a 4 out of a 5. It's definitely a good song. So yeah, Best of Times was definitely a great one. I really like the message behind it. definitely a great song. So, track 10 is Growing Old. This is like another more radio friendly song, just like the song Truth, but I personally like Growing Old just a bit more. But, however, Truth was not a bad song. I'm just saying that it was a ballad and kind of took away the second half of the album. But with Growing Old, it's in that kind of similar way, but it's still a good song though. I guess it's pretty much about the band members getting older and creating music for so long and that they pretty much don't no longer want to do it, or that's at least what I'm getting from the song, because everybody gets older, and when some people get older, they don't feel like doing things anymore that they once did when they were younger. So that's pretty much what I'm getting from the song when it comes to the meaning of it, but I'm probably wrong on that. But that's what I'm getting out of it. However, I still think it's a good song, so I'd give it a 3 out of a 5. It's not one of my favorites or anything on the album, but I still thought it was a good song though, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of a 5. So track 11 is the final song on the album, and it is the song Lighting Up the Sky, the title track of the album. This was another great song. I really enjoyed it. It was a great way to end off the album. Now, when I first heard this album in full, I thought this was a instrumental track because it doesn't have any singing from Soliana until like after 1 minute into the song, because the first minute or so is like just instrumental, and then little after a minute you finally get the singing in the song from Soliana. So yeah, it's pretty cool. This was definitely a great way to end off the album, and a really great title track. And at the end of the song, you get a little snippet of their song Voodoo from their 1998 self-titled debut album, which was definitely a great tribute to one of their best songs that they've ever done throughout their career. So I thought that was interesting to have a little snippet of Voodoo at the end of the song. So yeah, this title track is amazing, so I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of a 5. Definitely a really great title track, and a great way to end off this album. So yeah, what do I think of this new album overall? I think it's a good album. I mean, I think it could have been better, because songs like Hell's Not Dead, Soul on Fire, and Let's Go, those songs could have been better, but I don't think they're bad songs. They're just songs that aren't really favorites for me. However, they're not bad songs. I'm just saying that the songs could have been better, but they're still good songs though, because I did give them fair scores. So yeah, definitely a better album than When Legends Rise. Not even comparable at all. So yeah, it sucks that this is their new album, but I definitely respect that this is their last album. That's what I meant to say, because I really liked the album. It's a good album. It could have been better to end off their career with making albums, but I still think it's a good album for what it is. Definitely not bad at all. It's not one of their best, of course, but it's still a good final studio album for Godsmack, since they've been doing this for over 20 years. So yeah, this album, it's definitely good. I would say it's probably their best since 1000 Horsepower, or even the Oracle. That's just my opinion though. So, Lighting Up the Sky by Godsmack, I'm going to give this album an 8 out of a 10 rating. So, if you guys have heard of Godsmack, let me know what you think of their new album. And if you haven't heard of them or their new album or any of their music in general, I would definitely recommend them, because they're a good band. Hated by some and then loved by others. So, yeah, definitely a great album. 8 out of a 10 rating. They had a great career. So, Godsmack, wish you guys the best in y'all's future as a band after this new album. So, definitely recommend this new album. It's a good one. So, if you've heard it, let me know what you think of it. If you haven't, like I said, I would definitely check it out if I were you. It's definitely worth the listen each time. So, I'm the Flamehead97. Thank you guys for tuning into my album review for the new Godsmack album, Lighting Up the Sky, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.